cure for this one. Have a look in your own eyes. No cure for this one. There's 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 no cure for this one. This one. This one. This one. There's no cure for this one.
Hello everyone, I'm Tony Doherty and welcome to the first of two very special episodes of Muscle TV. We've got something a little bit different for you, but something I know you'll enjoy, folks, as tonight, in the first of an exclusive two-part special, we go behind the scenes with three of Australia's best. Luke Schembri, Logan Robson and Scott Goble, as they prepare for arguably the toughest and most prestigious amateur bodybuilding competition in the country, the IFBB Pro Qualifier. Not only will we find out who gets themselves that elusive IFBB Pro Card and a spot next to the best bodybuilders in the world, but we'll also find out a bit more about what makes these three athletes tick, how they got to where they are in the sport, and take a look behind the scenes, warts and all, at the 24 hours before they take on the most important competition of their lives. It's a Muscle TV exclusive, folks, and an incredible insight into three awesome bodybuilders and three great blokes to boot. Enjoy.
You know, I just love being in the gym, love throwing the weight around and just most of all pushing myself. And that's in anything I do, and being disciplined. And I guess I thrive on that, and that's one of the strengths you definitely need to succeed in bodybuilding. Without the discipline, you're just another gym goer.
I think to do a bodybuilding show and do it properly, you've almost got to be a bit weird or have mental issues. Like, you know, you diet for that long, you go crazy really from the diet. You're still training and you've got no energy, and you know you're grumpy and you're this and that. And I mean, look, it's just anything I guess in life. If you want it bad enough, you know, you've got to put in the effort.
The elation you get after all that sacrifice and all that discipline, when it actually translates into something like a win on a bodybuilding stage, it's hard to describe it. And it's something you want to pursue, and innately or instinctively you realise that the harder it is to achieve that goal, or the loftier the goal you achieve, the greater that sense of reward. I grew up out in Wandon North, which is a very outer eastern suburb. In a way, I guess I was the black sheep of the family in that I was the only athletic one in amongst a bunch of nerds. So I was the one that was always urging someone to come outside and throw a ball or kick a footy or do something with me. I
went to school at Parramatta Marist High, so in the western suburbs of Sydney. I've got one brother, two sisters. They were always more academic rather than sporting. So when I came along, you know, it was a bit of a shock to the family because I did athletics and rugby league and boxing. My brother and sisters did play sport, but I was the one who really, you know, every weekend was doing something and training during the week.
They just did not participate in sport. They didn't really watch sport. Like my dad's an Australian dad. He doesn't really watch Aussie rules or cricket. He wouldn't be able to kick a footy real well. He was a school teacher. My mum never played a sport. My sister is now a lawyer. She never participated or showed any interest in any physical activity whatsoever. So yeah, they were much more into reading.
I grew up in New Zealand and was there till I was 11 years old, and was right into sports from I guess 5 or 6, athletics and soccer and rugby. And then I moved over to the Gold Coast when I was 11, and I've been into sports ever since. Yeah, I was always solid, always one of the biggest kids in the class, probably pretty pudgy.
I was quick, believe it or not, fast runner, 100 metres, 200 metres. No,
I was athletic, but I was lean and small. By the time I was 16, I was still only 62 kilos.
I think I was like, I know I was 80 kilos in year 8.
I was 67.5 kilos through school, in high school, year 12.
I was probably a little bit conscious of being a little bit fat, but at the same time, whenever we played footy or any sort of sport, I could push people around, and I kind of enjoyed that.
I was 62 kilos, running around the soccer field getting belted by adults. And that's what led me into the gym, just to build up a bit. And actually fell in love with it.
So started training basically in rugby league because we were a fairly strong rugby league school, and we had a pretty good gym set up.
I really started training when I was about 14. I was messing around with some mates doing some backyard Muay Thai, kickboxing style. I think we were the originators of MMA, to be honest. And we decided that if we lifted some weights and looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme or Arnold, that we'd be able to kick and punch each other a little bit harder. So we started lifting weights just with the bench press and stuff at home.
We'd just go in there and basically try to do the biggest bench press that we could, and that happened to be one of my strongest things. So, you know, I think that's why I liked it.
I really enjoyed it and got stronger fairly quickly.
And saw the changes and the benefits for my body, and probably played another season of soccer and athletics, and then it all went out the door, and on came the gym or bodybuilding.
Being a skinnier kid, it was good to put on a bit of muscle size, and I think coming from a background of like sprinting and that, like for my size, I was very strong, so I got good results very quickly.
I think it's because I was a 14-year-old kid, and the fact that I was bigger and stronger than everyone else gave me identity and status. To be completely honest, I think it was ego then, and it's probably ego now. And all of a sudden I was the big strong kid in school, and you know, I could beat the other guys in arm wrestles, and I could bench press more than them, and all this sort of stuff, and it gave me an identity in high school. Look, we made a lot of stuff up. There's a lot of things I look back on that were really, really stupid. I was doing everything I thought was right. Looking back on it, much of it was wrong. But yeah, I was eating up. I was pounding tuna sandwiches and stuff every lunchtime, every recess. I was buying Mega Mass 2000 as soon as I could.
I did make a lot of mistakes doing things like if I trained chest and I wasn't sore the next day, I'd train it again, and same with other body parts.
No, look, my diet was terrible when I was first started training, and it was for many years after. It was probably my biggest downfall. Even to this day, I've only just started really eating enough vegetables and that type of thing. So my diet has been my weakness from day one.
At a young age, nutrition was probably the hardest part. I guess I just got a lot of protein in, but whether it come from bad food like Hungry Jacks or a litre of milk, I did silly things like that as well. But at that age, I think my body was just primed, ready to grow, and it was all just good timing.
There was no specific point where I thought, you know, like, you know, bodybuilding, this is it. I think every year it's been a natural progression, and I've just set goals for each year. So whether it be for a particular show, or, you know, if I wanted to sort of reach a particular weight, like, you know, breaking the 100 kilo mark back, you know, however many years it was a huge thing. And then before that, breaking 90 kilos was a huge thing.
Oh, I would say if I started lifting at 14 or 15, I decided I wanted to be Mr. Olympia. So I was into it, yeah, and I wanted to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was going to bodybuilding shows when I was 15, 16, seeing Ron Love guest pose, and saw Lee Haney guest pose, and Sean Ray and all these guys. So yeah, I was pretty into it. Who knows what my family thought of it, because I did have the posters of Arnold Schwarzenegger up there, but I made sure I had a calendar of Elle Macpherson as well to sort of balance it out and maybe set their minds at ease. But yeah, they thought it was odd, but they supported me like that. They bought me a bench press and stuff so I could train at home when I couldn't make it to the gym. So they let me do my thing.
I couldn't say there's been one particular point. It's just been a gradual sort of progression, and setting the goals high and keep setting them high every year.